Hey, what's up? Good morning, America, or should I say good evening? This is the one and only, yours truly, the magnificent Shane, S-H-A-N-E, Patton, P-A-T-T-O-N. And, sorry about that. I'm here recording my environmental science video on my book review. And basically, what I would want to talk about is this book here. This is a lovely book. Policy implications of greenhouse warming. And what I particularly like about this book is it talks about how economics is used to solve environmental issues. And I personally believe that the choices people make in the market, believe it or not, drives the economy towards greater efficiency. And the use of, and in so being more efficient, we actually preserve our environment and conserve our environment. Economists, I believe that environmentalists are wrong when they say that economists values only economic growth. It does not. Economists, but they are right to point out that in practice, the statistic most often used to indicate whether economic welfare is rising or falling is a purely monetary measure, GDP, and that better measures of economic success or failure that take environmental and other non-monetary factors into account are needed. Nevertheless, in recent decades, countries with the highest levels of GDP have made the greatest progress in reducing environmental damage. And, and although many environmentalists argue that government should take action or should tackle the problem by banning undesirable economic activity, some plausible explanations do in fact say that we could actually suggest a market-based alternative, which might be a bit more efficient. For instance, companies that economic pollution could be limited, actually. Carbon dioxide emissions into our lakes and streams, into our air. These things could actually be limited by simply selling tradable rights to pollute. And what I mean by that is, if you sell tradable rights to pollute, the countries that produce the most pollution per unit of, let's say, production, and can actually produce the most economic wealth while contributing the most to the welfare of our air quality and the welfare of our people. I mean, welfare and utility is economic jargon for happiness and satisfaction. Well, happiness and satisfaction is something different to many people, and that's what I particularly like about this particular book, simply because, like I said before, policy implications of greenhouse warming implies that we use other factors such as policy choices, which government actions to intervene in economic activity that is deemed unsafe for our overall society. And another very variable about this book is there's obviously economic implications, simply because it talks about risks. Well, where else do we talk about risk? The risk factors of economic production, economic progress. Well, let's talk about risk. That's a purely economic issue, but economics also take environmental and non-monetary factors into account as well. I believe personally. I think that the more information that we get out to society, to the populations, would end up in the hands. The more information that we get out to people really would lead to less pollution, less government intervention in human affairs, more conservation, more preservation, and the reduction of carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere overall in a safely and professional manner. Understanding the economic implications of the information revolution now underway, notably through the spread of the internet, is actually, we got to take advantage of the ready availability of information. Lack of information is what kills us. They say what you don't know won't hurt you. Well, obviously that's not true. I mean, we as a society should stand in support of research and development and the spread of information to more efficiently preserve our fresh waters and fresh air, more specifically, and invest more on conservation areas in critical need of our attention that we may be previously unaware of. That's pretty much on my mind. Now, they say the definition of economics is the study of how society uses scarce resources and more snap science and choices that helps people make decisions about how to use such scarce things. I think that our role as humans on this planet is more or less of a anthropocentric role and more of environmentally, not just an environmentally friendly, but we need to work together with the environment and sort of become one with the environment. In my opinion, I mean, arguably the biggest intellectual challenge would be to develop a use of economic theories that take proper account of human affairs or human emotions, or human nature, rather, right, so to speak. And economists have typically described the thought process of Homo sapiens as more like that of Star Trek's half Vulcan, half human Spock, strictly logical, centered on a clear defined goal, free of the unsteady influences of emotion and the unsteady, error-prone groping with which most of us are familiar. Who knows? People might not regard economics with a human face as quite such a dismal science, but there is a growing, economists are waking up to this fact. I mean, economists are, a wind of change blowing some human spirit back into the ivory towers where economic theory is made. And these are critical issues. I mean, people, there is a growing school of economists who are drawing on a vast range of behavioral traits. So we have to, it's all about our behavior. I mean, if you combine the environment with economics along with our behavior, behavior traits can be driven by many different elements. I mean, it could be internal forces, external forces. Psychological theories generally assume that energized traits, concealed motivational states impel behavior in a variety of directions. Well, we're the products of our environment, and if you want to become better, more well off as a species, then we can't let our environment influence us to too high of a degree, because there's also internal forces at work, at play. And who knows? People might not regard economics with a human face as quite such a dismal science, but protecting the environment is likely to remain an important battleground for economists. And I think that they're wrong when they argue that economics only values economic growth. I say that's not. Economics values economic growth, but not and keeping in a sort of a how should I put this? Economics values economic growth, but it values economic growth. It values economic growth safely, for lack of a better term. It values economic growth like as stewards. We have to value our economic growth as stewards of this planet. I don't know any religious perspectives, but the book is primarily about economics and how it would influence the future of greenhouse warming, and how these various hydrocarbons and greenhouse gas, other greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide, economic implementations, and policy implementations, governmental policy and economic implementations, monetary and fiscal policy to help society become better well off. I mean, economic theories include in the definition of welfare the satisfaction individuals get from their families, their friends, their religions, and economics is not perfect quite yet. Microeconomics was history. We're talking Keynesianism, we're talking monetarism, the rival policy of monetarism was final proof of what economists should have known all along. But failures such as these have helped to make the public cynical about economics. But I think that the arrival of market economics and the belief that letting market forces decide how to allocate our scarce resources is usually more important than getting government planners to do it. And I think it's really government planning is what we need to run away from, because that's what's really killing society. I think private property and privatizing and conserving and preserving our land and our valuable resources is something of a private matter as well. So I'm all for combining the public and private sectors and combining macro and micro economic policies to find solutions to problems. And that's pretty much all I gotta say. And that's all, folks.